Well, 2022 is the summer of morning planets. Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, and Venus are all quite prominent, with Mercury stopping by in June. Throughout the summer, get up early to see the weeks where the moon drives by the planets, and maybe catch a few meteors in August, as some of the planets return to the evening skies. So, welcome
to Observing with Webb, where a high school astronomy teacher tells you what you're looking at, why it's so cool, and what you should check out later this month at night.
Thank you. Well done, Sikorsa. All right, well, there you have it. We're going to talk about the whole summer in this video. As you can tell, it's a little late for just June, and I wanted to give you a look at the entire summer. Plus, there's not a whole lot going on, but there's something going on all the time, and that's the planets. So I wanted to give you a whole look throughout the whole summer for that. And we're recording on Father's Day with
me, Sikorsa.
There we go. So, with that, why don't we take a look at the night sky by looking at the planets throughout the summer. So let's start here with the basic setup. Okay, now Sikorsa, can you read those planets from left to right?
Saturn, Jupiter, Mars, and Venus.
Or right to left. Now, what I like to do is I like to look at it and see, okay, for the whole month, we're going to start with Venus on the left, and that's a good starting point. So for the entire summer, Venus is going to be up. It's going to be bright. And then up and to the right of that is going to be Mars. And up and to the right of that is Jupiter. And up and to the right of that is Saturn. That's the basic setup here for the summer. Now, what's going to happen is Mercury will join in for a little bit in June. And the moon's going to join in as well. We're going to talk about that.
Venus and Mars are further. Venus and Mars are far apart. Jupiter and Saturn are far apart, but Mars and Jupiter aren't.
Yeah, they're pretty close, and they start out the summer that close. Okay, so I want you to tell me what happens. I'm gonna roll time forward a bit. I'm gonna zoom out a bit, and what I'd like you to do, Sikorsa, is tell us, what do you see happen as the month goes by, as June goes by, and ignore the moon for now. But what do you notice about those planets?
They're getting farther apart.
That's right. They keep getting further and further apart, and that's going to go on throughout the entire summer.
Yep.
So the way it works out is, let's say we're recording this on the 19th, okay? And on the 19th, they're pretty close together. Venus and Mars are probably about 30 degrees apart. That's 3 fist widths held at arm's length. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Mars and Jupiter are about 10 degrees, I think, and Jupiter and Saturn are about 40 degrees, right? And so by the end of June, okay, so let's go to July 1st. They're a little bit further apart. Venus and Mars are 42 degrees apart. Jupiter and Saturn are 43. And Mars and Jupiter in here are 20 degrees apart. But then if we go one more month, let's go to August 1st. Woo! What'd you notice?
Venus and Mars have gone really far apart. Venus is nearly...
Yeah, Venus and Mars are 60 degrees apart.
Oh my God.
That's about a third of the visible sky.
And Mars and Jupiter are pretty far apart.
They're 40 degrees.
And Jupiter and Saturn are about the same, maybe a little bit closer.
Yeah, they're 45 degrees apart. And now, so you're starting to see how Venus is on one side and Saturn is almost on the complete opposite side of the sky. Now, let's go to
September.
Well, August 31st. And whoa, look at that. Wow, let's see. Can we even get Venus and Saturn in the same? Not quite. They are on complete opposite sides of the sky, right? So now you've got Venus, Mars, and Jupiter.
Sorry.
Okay. Venus, Mars, and Jupiter, and Saturn is all the way on the opposite side. So they just keep spreading apart throughout the summer.
Mars and Jupiter have gone farther apart. Same with Jupiter and Saturn.
Mm-hmm. All right. So that's the basic setup, right? So they keep getting further and further apart. Let's go back and let's look at what goes on for the events throughout the months. In fact, let's start here on today, which you said was June 19th. And on June 19th, you got a really cool thing. You might have been hearing about this already, where you've got quite the lineup. Basically, any object of interest to most normal people is up in the sky here, okay? And so June 19th in the morning, you've got Mercury down here. Okay?
We've got Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, the Moon, and then Saturn.
Yeah.
Left from right.
Very
Left
good.
to right.
Right? And so I usually say let's start with Venus because that's the brightest. That's the easiest one to find. So go ahead and find that, okay? It's consistently throughout the summer it's going to be 10 degrees above the horizon. Venus is going to be hard to miss just in general. And yeah, it's what's called the morning star. And so then you also notice that Mars is up there. Mars is dimmer. It's going to be red. It's going to be a bit dimmer. And it's going to be moving away from Jupiter, but it's basically hanging out in in Pisces there throughout the entire summer. Okay. In fact, well, we'll talk about that later. Jupiter is hanging out in Pisces all month.
Same with Mars is a little closer to Pisces than Jupiter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're basically in that same area, but as you move through the months. Oh, look at that. Jupiter is still in Pisces a month later, and Mars moves over toward Aries. And in fact, I guess I'll get to it now. In August, Mars is hanging out right near the Pleiades, which is pretty cool.
right near the Moon.
Yeah. All right, so let's back up, okay? Jupiter, the Moon, and Saturn. All right, so in the mornings, you have to get out after like 4:30 to see this. You might even be able to catch Mercury right down there. Okay, so we have the moon joining this whole thing. So any morning from about the 19th to the 27th, you can go out and you can see the moon hanging out with these planets, right? So on tonight, the 19th, the moon is in between Jupiter and Saturn. If we go forward a day, it's a bit, what do you notice? It got what? Closer to Jupiter, right?
Yeah.
And then what happens on the 21st?
Even closer.
Yeah. So it's down and to the right of Jupiter. And then on the 22nd...
It's kind of in the middle of Mars and Jupiter.
Mm-hmm.
They kind of make an irregular triangle.
You're right. Right on. And then on the 23rd, the moon is to the left of Mars. Do you notice anything else going on with the moon? What's happening as the days go by?
It's getting darker and darker.
Yeah. Yeah, the lit part is getting thinner and thinner. Right? And so we go, 23rd, 24th, 25th. Now, this is when it gets a bit interesting down here right by the horizon, right? So on the 25th, if you're good, if you can see this, if you have a nice view of the horizon, okay, then you should be able to see Mercury. It's very low, okay, only about 3 degrees above the horizon. Venus is there, and the moon is there, very thin crescent. Then on the 26th, the moon is
about new.
Mm-hmm. And very close to Venus.
Yep.
Now, 27th, gosh, I doubt anyone's going to be able to see us because it'll be light because it's dawn, but you've got the moon, a very, very thin crescent, and Mercury right there. In fact, if we move, yeah, that's really close to the moon. Or sorry, the moon is very close to the sun, but I don't know. If you've got a nice, clear view of the horizon, you might be able to catch that. But it has to be after 4:30 in the morning to catch Mercury. Okay. Now, if you just want to see Venus and the rest of them, anytime after 4 will work, because Venus rises a little bit earlier. Okay. All right. Are you clapping for me? All right. You should clap for yourself. You're doing a good job. All right. Now, June 21st is the summer solstice. Okay. There's nothing actually to look up at the night sky. But on that night, it's the longest day of the year, shortest night of the year for those of us in the northern hemisphere. And so that's what's going on in June. There we go. June is taken care of.
Yep.
Okay?
And then the moon is in its like half moon.
On the 21st,
Yeah.
yes. You saw it already. You saw the moon go through the planets for June, and then it turns into a new moon, right?
Yep.
And let's move on to July, because in July, Okay. You
It's
see,
not.
again, the planets are spreading further and further apart. And on July 5th,
My
somebody's
birthday.
birthday, you see Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn all in a nice straight line out there.
I am so excited to see them on my birthday.
Now, are you going to get up at 4 in the morning?
Maybe. If you wake me up.
Okay. Well, we'll see about that, right? So then for July, when you're talking about the moon, okay, you got to fast forward to the 19th, or actually, let's do July 15th and 16th, okay? July 15th and 16th. What do you see there, buddy?
I can see the full moon, Saturn, which is right near the full moon, then Jupiter, then Mars, then Venus,
Yeah.
right to left.
Then on the 16th, the moon is on the other side of Saturn. Kind of travels, and then 19th, July 19th, it's really close to Jupiter, so
And
mark that up.
and it's Saturn, Jupiter, the moon, Mars, Venus, right,
There you go.
right to left.
Yep. And then the moon gets right next to Mars on the 21st, July 21st. And then a bunch of days later, about 5 days later, in fact, let me get it a little later in the day, Venus and the moon are close together again for July 26th. All right, so that's June or July. I keep mixing them up. July. So let's move to August. The same thing essentially is going to happen. Where as we get into August, let's go to August 11th. That's when it's going to be near Saturn.
And
Well, really,
also
August-
a full moon.
Really, August 11th into the 12th, right? So you've got a full moon, August 11th into the 12th, right below Saturn right there. Okay.
And full.
And that's when, in August, we get to the Perseid meteor shower. Now, Scorsa, do you like meteor showers?
Yes. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Well, I gotta tell you, it's not going to be the most exciting Perseid meteor shower. Do you want to know why?
Why?
Well, take a look. What is up in the sky on August 12th that might make it hard to see some meteors?
Jupiter
Nope, that's fine.
and the moon.
Ah, there you go.
Jupiter and the moon.
Well, not Jupiter. Jupiter's fine.
Both white.
Yeah.
Still.
So what the moon does,
Jupiter and moon.
what the moon does is it reflects a lot of the sun's light, and it makes the night brighter, right? And because it makes the night brighter, it's harder to see those faint meteors. Plus, if you look at it, you kind of ruin your night vision, and you can't really see all that much. So, the moon is a full moon during the meteor shower. That's never good, okay?
Never.
But you might still be able to see some. Normally, you might be able to see 60 meteors an hour, but you should still be able to see some very bright ones. So, I think we should still go out in the hammock and take a look. What do you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, how fast do you think? So the idea is the meteor is leftover stuff, leftover dust, okay, and we're crashing into it, and it's hitting this dust. How fast do you think it's hitting the dust? How fast is that dust moving into our atmosphere?
Like 100 miles per hour?
Well, it's 37 miles per second.
What?
So about 6 times, I don't know, 37 miles per second, much faster than that, right? So real fast, and then it crushes the atmosphere and it lights everything up.
What?
Okay.
Wait, how fast does it go per hour?
Multiply that by 3,600. So 37 times 3,600. That's probably 37,000. I'm going to say something like 10,000 miles per hour.
What?
I think. I hope I did my math right on that. But yeah, so Perseid meteor shower. Go out there, take a look, see if you can see something. Just look at the whole sky. But you know, I wouldn't be planning any parties for it or anything.
What?
Right? Super fast.
That is the fastest thing I've ever heard of, except for the speed of light and speed of sound.
Yeah, it's pretty fast. Now,
Super fast.
take a look. Right? So we were looking at the moon,
Yep.
and it goes through the planets, right? Goes by.
Yep.
So if you're looking for Jupiter and the moon, you're looking at August 15th. And then a couple days later, it is right near Mars on August 19th. Night of the 18th, morning of the night. Night of the 18th, morning of the 19th.
That's a good, if you want to look for Mars, that's a good day.
Yeah, that's a really good day to find Mars. And look, you got the Pleiades right nearby. You've got Taurus right there. That's going to be pretty cool.
Constellations are amazing.
Yeah, they are.
Why?
Go ahead.
Why under like Mars and the Moon is Orion?
Yeah, right on. What do you call that? I call it the bow tie. You call it what shape is that?
Hourglass.
Yeah.
That's the if you take out the arm and the bow with the two arms and the bow, you can kind of see an hourglass shape.
Mm-hmm. Right on. And then here on August 25th, in the morning, you'll see another close encounter with the moon and Venus.
If you're looking, if you somehow find the moon...
You're out of the camera, buddy.
Oh, sorry. If somehow you find the moon, which I bet you won't, you'll be able to see Cancer, and next to Cancer is Canis Minor, which is just two stars, and then Canis Major is partly able to be seen, but not mostly.
All right, nicely done. All right, so there we go. Oh, I forgot to mention a couple things here, and one of those was Mercury at the end of August. Okay, you will be able to actually see Mercury at sunset. And so as we get to the end of August, we're actually getting to the point where
look west from where you're standing, and then you'll be able to see it.
Yep. So Mercury will be in the west, very low on the horizon, but it will be there.
Whoever made this, I gotta give credit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you might even be able to see Mercury and the moon on August 29th as well. But what we're seeing then is by the end of the summer, by August 29th, I'll already be in school for 2 weeks. Okay. What we'll see is now Mercury will be an evening planet and Saturn will be an evening planet. And you start seeing
a lot of other... Through the entire thing, you'll be able to see a lot of constellations.
And Jupiter starts being an evening planet by that point. So we start off with all the planets being in the morning, end up with Jupiter and Saturn and Mercury being in the evening. All right, real quick, we'll just take a look at the moon phases. The cool thing about these 3 months over the summer, you start off each month with the evening crescents. Okay, at the beginning of each month is when you look out west after sunset, you see the crescents. Okay, then the first quarter is on June 7th, July 6th, and August 5th. So after that, then the second week of each month is the evening gibbous. So that's when it's more lit up. Okay, and you can see it after sunset. Then the full moon ends up being on June 14th, July 13th, and August 11th. So that's when you can see it all night. So that basically that second week, third week, you've got a lot of moon pollution, a lot of light pollution up there. Then the last quarter moon will be on June 20th, July 20th, and August 19th. So then after that, you kind of get back into observing at night because the moon isn't up until after midnight. You've got some morning crescents, the fourth week of each month. And then the new moon is on June 28th, July 28th, and August 27th. And lastly, let's talk about some constellations throughout the summer. Let's start with July 5th. Great day.
My birthday?
Yep. He was our firework boy. And so here are some of the spring constellations that you can still see. Like 10 p.m., you're looking straight up. You can basically see these. Scorso, can you tell us a little bit about a few of them?
We've got booties shaped like a kite, ice cream cone, kite with legs.
Uh-huh.
Corona, Corona,
Corona Borealis.
Corona Borealis, like a curve.
Uh-huh.
And then Hercules, like a square with arms and legs coming out like he's jumping and putting a basketball in a hoop.
Yeah, yeah. We'll actually call this a keystone asterism because it's not quite square. The one side, this bottom side, is smaller, and so these two sides sort of angle in toward it. So they call that a keystone because it goes at the top of an arch to keep the arch still. We've done those at the science factory. And then also you can see these coming in over here in the east in July. But then in August, they're going to be straight overhead. You've got these 3 summer constellations here. Can you tell me what they are, bud?
Cygnus, Lyra,
and Aquila. And Cygnus is a
swan.
Lyra is a
Hawk.
And Aquila is a eagle. Eagle. Very good. Right, and so they make these 3 bright stars form what's called the summer triangle. Cygnus has the brightest star, Deneb, right there. Lyra has the brightest star in the summer sky, Vega. And Aquila has the brightest star, Altair. And so even if you're in a beach town where there's a ton of light pollution, like Ocean City or something like that, you can still see the summer triangle up there. And if you have pretty dark skies, you can see the rest of the constellations there as well, including this one, Delphinus, which I really like as well, the dolphin. And as you get even later into the summer, you can start seeing toward the east 2 big constellations here that are the fall constellations.
Andromeda and Pegasus.
And Pegasus is a big square. It's almost perfectly a square. I think this one is just a little bit off. Yeah. And actually, Pegasus and Andromeda kind of share Alpheratz. I think technically it's Andromeda, but it looks like it should be in the square of Pegasus.
Yeah, and Pegasus does also have some legs.
It's called the Winged Horse.
Horse.
Yep, that's up there. And if you're really good, you might be able to see the Andromeda Galaxy. There you go. So what you do is you try to find Pegasus and Andromeda first. So you find Pegasus. Andromeda is these 2 curves going off to the left. And then it's got these 3 pairs of stars, right? 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6. And so what you do is you find 3 and 4 here. And you go about the same distance. See this distance here? Then you go into the curve about that distance. And you should be able to find M31, the Andromeda Galaxy right there. Now, it's not going to look that cool.
I know.
Okay? Even in a telescope, it's not going to look that cool. You got to get a time-lapse photography, all kinds of cool stuff that people can do, and a telescope. But you can actually see that in the night sky. If you see a little fuzzy in your pictures, that's what it is. Okay? And, so that is the night sky for the summer of 2022. So get out there in the morning and check out those planets if you end up being a sleepyhead and sleeping in. Wait till the end of summer. You can see Saturn, also Jupiter toward the very end, maybe even Mercury. And but really just go out there, have a good summer.
You can also see Cygnus the Swan and Lyra the Hawk on my birthday, July 5th.
So, with that, I hope you have a wonderful summer. Enjoy it. And make sure you get out and check out the planets in the morning. It's quite remarkable. If you have a telescope and you've been trying to get a time to see some cool things, the mornings are great because you have all 5 planets that you might be able to see. So, with that...
show some other clusters. And nebulas.
Oh, yeah. Good point there, Sikor. So if you have a telescope down in Sagittarius, there are some really cool things to see. You mean Ophiuchus?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ophiuchus. Sounds like you're throwing up a little bit. Ophiuchus! All right. Well, thank you, everybody. And I hope you have a wonderful summer. And I'd like to wish you very clear, dark skies for the summer of 2022.